I end all of my longer videos in the same way. Thank you again for watching. See you soon. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I really appreciate it. See you soon. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I really appreciate it. See you soon. Then I fuck off for 6 months because the process of making a video ruins my life for about 4 months. And then I get the itch to make something new, and voila, new video. This cycle still holds true, but in this iteration, it's a bit different. For read where it's not supposed to be, I had to finish with a bigger project already in mind. The satisfactory 6-month rest I get after making a video was curd, hogtied, and Amontillado. Because this time, I wasn't just sitting around. I took the MCAT. Were you expecting anything else? But Withak, I hear you say, don't you ordinarily make content about video games and other such cringe-filled loser-core nonsense? And to that I say, Withak? Did you pronounce it Withak? Is that how you've been saying it? That's so embarrassing for you. Oh my god. It's Withak. You fucking rube. Addressing the question though. This channel is my way of taking things out of my brain and just putting them somewhere else. A lot of times that's about video games, sure, but sometimes I just want to dunk on all my friends for not liking olives. Is that cool with you? I hope it is. And if I'm going to spend 5 months of my life on this exam, I want to get something out of it other than just a score and a $1,000 credit card balance. Additionally, as I was watching other people's MCAT content for studying reasons, I realized that none of it is actually good. It's all just so homogenous and boring, and it just reeks of type A, and God, we can do better. Eating stale bread would be more engaging. At least then my gums would bleed so I'd feel something besides rage. I never wanted to make this video for pre-meds exclusively because I'm full of self-loathing, and that extends to every other pre-med. You are all terrible. We are all terrible. The real goal of all of this was to make something digestible and informative so that all of my non-pre-med friends can suffer vicariously. I'm going to walk you all through the entire MCAT process from start to finish. We'll start with the baby stuff first. A waste of time and money. It isn't really, but we'll get back to that. The MCAT, or the Medical College Admissions Test, is a required, standardized exam administered by the Association of American Medical Colleges, otherwise known as the AAMC, and remember that name. They're a recurring villain in this story. The MCAT is required for admission into medical schools in both the US and Canada. Some people choose to do it while they're still in college, and others prefer to enjoy their life and do it later, like me. It's split into 4 sections: SIP, Cars, Bubba, and Piss, that are all scored on a range from 118 to 132, for a total score ranging from 472 to 528. For every section, you're given 95 minutes to answer 59 multiple choice questions, except for Cars. Cars, 90 minutes, 53 multiple choice questions. Optional rest periods are given between each section as well. All in all, you're going to be spending 7 hours and 5 minutes taking the MCAT, all for the low, low price of a $335 registration fee. Wait, what? You gotta pay for this thing. Actually, you gotta pay a lot to take this thing. More on that later. The point of all of this is that your undergraduate GPA and your MCAT score are both very important pieces of data for admissions officers to decide who gets invited to interview. You see, the medical school application system has a problem. Volume. There's too fucking many of us. There's too many applicants and not nearly enough slots. Your MCAT score specifically communicates how academically ready you are for medical school. That's why it's important for interviews, but it does not communicate any other part of the applicant. Cultural awareness, integrity, personality, drive, goals, ambition. As an indicator of academic readiness, the MCAT does a pretty good job. Higher MCAT scores, alongside higher GPAs, are good predictors of success in medical school. It's a lot. It's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of bullshit that you're never going to need to know for medical school or anything ever again. And it's just meant to waste your time. It's all fucking dumb. Let's get into it. SIP. I'm not going to pronounce it the other way because YouTube is in my walls listening to me. Otherwise known as Chemical and Physical Foundations of Biological Systems. It's the worst. It's the worst section on the MCAT. General chemistry, organic chemistry, physics, math. That's right. This is the part of the MCAT where you need to do math, and it's bad math, because you're not allowed to use a calculator. PSA, no calculators on the MCAT. Why? Fuck you. Cars, critical analysis and reasoning. Skills, because I forgot to say the word somehow. Read 9 grade 13 and up passages relating from anything to art, history, science, philosophy, economics, history, debate pieces, the less the Argonian made, and answer questions about them that are either complete softballs or 90-mile-per-hour knuckleballs that only riddle-spouting bridge trolls can answer. BUBA, biological and biochemical foundations of living systems. All of your biology and biochemistry and some OChem lives here. If you don't know the in-depth, complete lore of all 20 common amino acids, the AAMC will come to your house and beat you to death. Piss. Psychological, social, and biological foundations of behavior. This is the best section in the MCAT because it's the last one. It's also completely divorced from everything else content-wise. Only psychology and sociology live here. This one has the least amount of critical thinking, and it's just memorizing 1,000+ terms that are all fair game. When it comes to your content review, you got some options. Those with daddy money, or a scholarship, can elect to do an in-person or online prep course. No such prep course is offered by the AAMC, so you'll need to find one via a university or some test prep company. For those who feel like they learn better in a classroom setting with an instructor and a rigid schedule, and who are scared of losing motivation, this might be a good option. The rest of us need to fend for ourselves via self-studying. Most of the free stuff can be found on either the MCAT subreddit, which if you go there, just go to the wiki and ignore the posts. It's not worth it. You're gonna feel bad about yourself every single time. Just don't do it, okay? Or the AAMC website, if you're dedicated enough. There's a 111-page course content PDF that nobody has ever read, and a much more useful interactive course content outline, with a lot of links to free resources. OpenStack textbooks, various LibreText pages, and the absolute golden child of it all, the AAMC-sponsored MCAT Khan Academy videos. The Khan Academy videos have helped out so many students over the years, myself included, that they're actually planning on taking things up a notch. By 2026, they're planning on getting rid of the course completely. Now, the problem with the free stuff is that it treats all of the content on the MCAT as if it's going to be equally represented. It is not. There are some topics on the MCAT that are just way more high yield than others, but the AAMC is not at all interested in giving that information to you, at least not for free. And so, they leave that to the test prep companies instead. If you want to do well on the MCAT, you're going to need to fork over some additional cash. I wasn't kidding when I said this was going to be an expensive exam. There's the official AAMC test prep bundle. Ooh. It includes a ton of practice questions and 4 full-length practice tests. $320, please. There's MCAT content review books offered by a few different companies that alleviates the problem of the free stuff. They give you all the content you need, emphasized. At least $200 for a new set. There's the forever gassed up UWorld question bank with 3,000+ MCAT questions. $319 for 90-day access. And if this all seems a bit excessive, it is. You can buy the practice test offered by the AAMC for $35 a pop and skip out on the questions. You can find a cheap used book set online somewhere. You don't need the UWorld question set. But the point of this all is, generally speaking, the more money you have to put down for the MCAT, the better your score will probably be. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go off on a small little tangent, because if the MCAT made me study sociology, I'm gonna fucking use it. I have a thing here. We all know that, at least in America and Canada, the majority of physicians are white or Asian. This population, generally known as overrepresented in medicine, or ORM, generally occupy a higher socioeconomic standing than those who are underrepresented in medicine, or URM. URM is typically shorthand for Black people, Hispanics, Latinos, American Indians, etc. It's been well documented that URM score less on average than ORM due to socioeconomic circumstances rather than the MCAT's test structure. The MCAT has psychometric testing validity, meaning scores on the exam do not over or underestimate the academic performance of students from different backgrounds. Lower mean scores for URM are more rooted in systemic racism than anything else. This is a known issue, so the AAMC claims to encourage admissions officers to pick lower scores for the sake of fairness. Problem is that, as mentioned earlier, MCAT scores are very important for deciding who gets the interview, which is a prerequisite to school acceptance. But again, they're not reflective of whether or not somebody will make it a good doctor. Additionally, for top medical schools, admissions officers feel pressure from stakeholders to select high-scoring MCAT students to maintain their status. Alright, I'm done being woke now. Assuming that you're raw dogging this exam and have decided to self-study, By this point, you've gathered all your resources and are ready to start. It was at this point in my own preparations that I found that I was already overwhelmed. I'm a min-maxer at heart, so I generally like to organize things beforehand for maximum efficiency. At first, I jokingly asked ChatGPT to make a schedule for me. It did it so fast, and so efficiently, and so well, that I closed my laptop and stopped for the rest of the day out of fear. The next day, I watched a bunch of videos, and I found some websites, and these were so profoundly unhelpful that I closed my laptop and stopped for the rest of the day out of anger. I figured out that instead of meticulously planning out every single day for the next 5 months, why not just carve out time blocks in every day for which I would study, and figure out what to do when I would get there. And yes, you heard me right. 5 months. That's not a totally unusual amount of time to study, considering my schedule. I have a full-time job, 40 hours a week, yada yada yada. Some people treat the MCAT as if it's a full-time job and do it in less than 3 months. Some people aren't people at all and do it in less than a month. Me? I like to avoid fires when I see them to avoid burnout. And so I decided that 24 hours a week for 5 months would probably be a good schedule. Look, I even have a scheduled out rest day. It won't be that bad, right? Surprisingly, I was pretty excited to start the whole process. God, I don't want to do this. I didn't want to do it so bad that I forgot to record for the next 2 weeks, but it's okay. So, first off, I stole this template off of some guy on YouTube. Didn't like his template very much. I liked what it included in terms of like the overall skeletal structure of everything, but I changed some things. Obsidian. I fucking love Obsidian. I've been using Obsidian since before I even studied for the MCAT. I learned about it after college, so a little bit too late, but it's okay. If you don't use Obsidian, start. Anki. Nobody knows what Anki is, and if you do, you're a fucking nerd, or you're lying. It's a flashcard software that utilizes spaced repetition and its algorithm to show you different flashcards every single day. I stole the Mal Downs deck, because if you don't have the Mal Downs deck or the Jack Sparrow deck, you're wasting time. Next up, what book set did you use for content review, Lucas? Oh, I don't know. How about Kaplan? All of those. I had a lot of Amazon gift cards, so I decided to get the newest edition, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You can find new ones online for cheap. I started studying on this day, March 26th. I only hate everything when I'm doing physics, but that's only one part of the MCAT. But overall, right now, it's the beginning of week 2, and it's not terrible yet. So, more to come. The path ahead was built to be grueling, painful, unforgiving, but I was determined. So determined, in fact, that after about a week, I got distracted and went across the Atlantic to go see my girlfriend. I still had some quality studying time en route, though, because why would I stop? I gotta learn about sperm and shit. And when I arrived, she was so happy to see me. Do you want to learn more about your hormones during your periods?
Lucas, I swear to Christ, if you try and explain that shit to me again, I'll fucking kill you.
She was also very helpful for the real reason I was there. Make a really bad montage. Oh, man. That sure was a nice refreshing 10-day break after a whole 9 days of studying. But it's time to get serious again. And once I did, I got into a little bit of a problem. My Tuesdays and Thursdays have been really, really bad because those are the days that I study after I get home from work. And it's like 8:30 at night, and the idea of cracking open a Kaplan book and looking through a chapter for 2.5 hours makes me want to gouge my eyes out. I should just use my Tuesdays and Thursdays as practice days, like doing like Jack Weston passages or doing like the Kaplan practice passages or whatever. This schedule change would prove to be advantageous in more ways than one. By this point, I was halfway done with the main bulk of my content review, so adding in a bit of practice every day would help to keep things fresh.
It's midnight on a Thursday. I crunched through the first half of the organic chemistry book in like a week. The book is very small. I like coming home and doing practice questions after work rather than doing a chapter. The whole thing with the MCAT is it's a practice-based exam. It's content and practice rolled into one. You get to a point where you know enough of the content that's going to be on the exam that crosses over to practice being more useful to you than content review. It's still going okay.
And then it stopped being okay. Kill me. Just fucking kill me. I don't want to do this. I hate glycolysis. I was done with this shit in undergrad. I don't want to do it again. Oh my god. Look at all of it. Look at all of it. It just keeps going. It never ends. I knew it would be bad, but I didn't think it would be this bad.
Fuck glycolysis. I'm so mad. I knew I'd be mad, but I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. I was supposed to end studying at like 4 today. Who knew that one chapter could wipe out your entire, like, want to live? I'm so upset about the fact that I have to do more.
I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not, okay? Because nobody cares. Just, if you've had to learn the whole process of aerobic respiration from beginning to end, you know how bad it is. For those of you who haven't, God bless your souls, just know that the whole process takes several weeks to learn, just by studying or whatever. Even when taught in universities, it's cut into multiple different lectures over the span of a couple weeks. I did it over the course of a weekend because I just wanted to get it over with.
It's over. I've expanded it all for your viewing pleasure. And I've collapsed these 2 chapters into one note instance, and it just keeps going. It really does. And we just keep going down. I probably didn't need to go so hard on this chapter, or these 2 chapters in particular. It took forever, but hopefully it pays off. I still have one more chapter left for the day. I don't want to do it, but like, that's the agreement I have with myself.
I feel like everyone who does this test has a point where they look at it and they realize just how bad it really is, how much stuff you have to learn for it. And that was this point for me. And I'm sure a lot of other people feel the same way. The aftershock of these 2 chapters alone rocked my world for the next several weeks.
I'm going to categorize my MCAT experience into PG and AG, prior glycolysis and after glycolysis. So PG, the amount of content was not completely overwhelming seeming. AG, now, those 2 chapters alone have so much goddamn content. I had a bit of a breakdown over the weekend because, like, this is what I have to deal with now. Like, this just entered my life, and it's not going to go away for the next few months.
Fuck. After going at this for nearly 2 months, you reach a point where you're like, wow, this is what I've been living like for the past 7 weeks. Tuesdays and Thursdays are still a drag. I get home, I eat dinner, I mull around for a bit, and then at like 9 p.m. I'll start, and I will keep going until like 11:30. After my mental breakdown last week about aerobic respiration, this week was much better in terms of content review. It was all just like chemistry stuff that I kind of missed learning about, and like a singular physics chapter. That was a cakewalk compared to glycolysis, man. It's setting in how much stuff I've had to learn, because I feel like whenever I learn anything else on top of whatever I've already gained, it just kind of spills over the edge. I have not been doing my Anki very consistently because like the card numbers keep piling up and it's just getting ridiculous at this point. Like I'm scared to open the app.
Despite it all, I was still making some good progress. All of my content review, for the most part, was done, and my brain felt like it would adequately explode at any minute, which is, believe it or not, a good thing. My patience, though, was definitely starting to wear thin.
Check this shit out. I got this question wrong, right? Because I know what R and S is, but I got this wrong because the asshole who decided to make this question decided to put this in a Fisher projection. And with Fisher projections, the H, the lowest priority group, is in the front. It's in the front. It's in the front because it's on a bow tie. The RS configuration is flipped around. Why do they do this?
We're now at the halfway point. Yeah, woohoo. All right, cool. Go me. Practice. Practice questions, practice tests. That, on top of Anki review flashcards and some psych-soch, that's all I'm doing at this point. By mid-June, I took my first practice full length, and about every other weekend after that or so, I would do a new one, just to see how I was doing.
So we're in the car and I'm about to go home. Now my sole motivation for getting better at the MCAT is to not have to spend 10 hours reviewing it. The review of the full length definitely was meaningful. It's good to have these things written out and displayed all in a row. I really need to get my game on for Chem Phys questions when it comes to reading passages, because they are just they're terrible to get through. I hate those things, man. Some of the bio ones are also very questionable. I don't mind reading Cars passages as much if they're not about like 11th century art or whatever. Sometimes they're pretty cool. Kaplan can suck my ass. Kaplan sucks because their full lengths, they have so much dumb shit on their full lengths that I can just tell for a fact it's like, this is not at all like my homies at the AMC would never do this to me. They had me do this question where it's like, here is this variable and this variable and this variable put together into an equation that makes sense. And it's like, what are you talking about? And they had a bunch of like trick questions, and I'm like, usually the MCAT doesn't try to trick you. It's the 4th of July tomorrow. So looking back on the past 3 months or so, or 2.5 months or whatever, it's like, where did the time go? What have I been doing?
And as anyone could have guessed, it didn't take long for practice fatigue to set in too. Because no matter how great it might feel to have all of that content review be done, doing nothing but practice questions day in, day out, forever, it inspires a mind-numbing, there's a word for this, agony.
Honk honk, breaking news. I'm a piece of shit. I've been getting really frustrated with my job, and that's feeding into my own studying life because I just come home tired and angry every day. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't really even study anymore. Like I think about it and I'm like, when I get home from my job and eat dinner and whatever, I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna study and it's gonna be great. Then I just like don't do that and I end up just like pissing myself on the floor. Wednesday and Friday are still fine. I've really thought about moving my Tuesday and Thursday times to just in the mornings at like 6 a.m. before I have to go to work. It's mainly just like Anki and practice from here on out because I only have like a month left and I feel like I'm severely behind.
And all of the MCAT cliches, man. Mile wide, inch deep. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Shut up. It's grading. It's so fucking annoying. I get it. I'm in month 3 or 4 at this point. Like, imagine telling a marathon runner at mile 16 that, hey, buddy, guess what? You're doing a marathon. Good job. Like, they would kill you. Like, straight up, they would kill you and take your water for the betterment of the tribe. Lisan al-Gaib, Dune.
This is the AAMC, and I'm glad I paid $300 for a product that isn't finished yet. What do you mean it'll be added here? You can't put a placeholder. Just do it, guys. Like, I don't want your standard solution. I want like the more advanced one. I have done no less than 1,000 Anki flashcards over the past 2 days, and I feel disgusting. I've been doing some of the AAMC stuff because I only have like a month or so left, and it's about time to start clearing those out. I've heard that it's like good to save them for last so that you can have the freshest, most AAMC applicable things in your mind before you take the test. Not all grinds get easier either. When I get very sad, and I don't want to admit it, I tend to compensate by sounding peppier instead. And that's what's happening in this next clip. We're on the floor. My new getting out of study free card has been to lie on the floor for a little bit to rest my eyes and then just happen to fall asleep for 5 hours and then wake up and be like, oh no, it's 5 a.m. Guess I gotta get ready for work. I only have about 3 or so weeks left. I've gotten to the point in my studying, I think, where I just feel stupid. I just feel so fucking dumb, man. Like, I'm not getting them wrong. I'm getting like an 80% correct response rate or whatever, right? So I'm getting the majority of questions right. But a lot of the time it's like, what, huh? What am I looking at? I can't properly explain to you how 5 months of studying has culminated into this. I'm gonna sleep in a bed tonight for a change, and hoping my back doesn't hurt when I wake up. Good night.
Sad, but not defeated. I had 3 weeks and 3 practice full lanes left to do. The end had seemed impossible, but the goal was finally coming into view.
I'm in the parking lot of a coroner's office. I took a practice exam yesterday. This one just felt harder for some reason. Maybe it's just because I'm getting tired. It's probably a lot of it is that I lose confidence. You can't let that happen on the MCAT because you're not going to know everything. Your goal for an MCAT question is more to figure out what they're trying to ask you. The AAMC has a very particular way of asking questions for you to figure out because you can know all the content you want, but sometimes they'll ask a question or present it in a way that doesn't make any sense. A lot of like the biochem section this time was a lot of cell biology. And that's not part of the curriculum for the MCAT. I feel like you don't really need to know cell bio to do the MCAT. So I think it was more of a matter of just like figuring out what they wanted, you know? I have 2 more practice exams to do. Real things happening soon, about 3 weeks.
What you should take away from that is that the MCAT relies a fair bit on you deciphering what the test makers are asking for. Sometimes, though, that's just not possible.
I have no fucking clue what an amber codon is. I've never once heard of that term in my entire life. But the correct answer depends on you understanding what an amber codon is. An amber codon is code for a nonsense mutation, which is really fucked up. Why would you not just say nonsense mutation?
I said it in a different testimonial already, but the MCAT really is a practice-based exam. You can review all of the content you want, read the books twice over, do every Anki flashcard imaginable. It will not matter if you don't also learn the test. But that's easier said than done, of course. Because after reading through 6 full content review books, memorizing over 3,000 Anki flashcards, doing thousands of practice questions, and 7 full-length practice exams, I still was not confident that I had learned the exam either. But there wasn't any more time to doubt.
15 hours, or I guess 14 hours, until it's time. Look at all those note instances. Look at all these links. Oh, it's terrible.
I'm gonna do some more flashcards before I go to bed, just reviewing my mistakes and doing the equations again, but that'll be it. And then I'll go in, sit down in a testing center for 7 hours, and be done. My knees are gonna be in shambles after this.
It was honestly kind of fun to get back into the swing of things.
I forgot how much I enjoyed Orgo. It's chemistry, but purely conceptual.
I'm looking forward to doing a chapter tomorrow. For now, it's 11 p.m. and I know I should stop for the day.
Half of the stuff in the chapters I read will probably not be tested on. It's so low yield, I can smell it.
Tomorrow's Memorial Day, so I'm planning on honoring the troops by getting on that fucking grind.
These Khan Academy passages got me feeling some kind of way.
The immune system is such a drag. I'm so sick of it. Get it?
When God sings with his creation, the AAMC will not be part of the choir.
This isn't as bad as last time, but it's still vile. You ever just want to eat glass?
Shut the fuck up, Kaplan. You know what you did. It's about prevention, not reaction, head ass.
This passage made me want to jump off a bridge. No specific bridge.
I can physically feel the information I learned a couple months ago slowly slopping out of my head, and it feels like how I imagine pulling a slug out of the mud would feel.
I ain't got no clue what paternalism is, bro. Isn't that a kind of meat?
Actually, ionization constant is code for acid dissociation constant. Use your critical thinking skills.
My mistakes spreadsheet is a minefield of vitriol.
You fucking donkey! I'll teach your grandmother to suck eggs!
Now go, little monkey. Memorize the Boltzmann constant and succumb to turmoil.
Fuck you! Just say acid dissociation constant!
Calculate the velocity of my head crashing into drywall using kinematic equations.
Mr. Stress Wood, I can't fucking read!
Bennington's scary. It scares me. How do I do fulcrums?
I got punked again! Mitochondrial DNA is double-stranded. They lied to me on purpose!
I'm sitting on the floor right now, the floor where I've spent many nights, more nights than I care to admit publicly, falling asleep on, and I have fallen asleep on it many times. I have 6 days until I take the actual official thing. What words are there to say, really? Like, it's the end. It's over. I don't have anything insightful. It is as bad as you think it is. It's terrible. I don't enjoy things as much as I used to because it's always offset by the fact that later I have to get back to studying. And I'm really looking forward to getting some of that joy back.
Woo! Oh my god, it's over!
It's a Friday night, and I can basically do whatever I want. I decided to make a drink, you know, because I fucking did it. That's not at all the right cap. Don't drink and drive, and if you do, call me. I'm on the top of a mountain. Now that I'm fucking done with the MCAT, I can do whatever I want. It's the day afterwards, and it's really nice outside. It's cloudy. It's been really hot this week, so this is a nice reprieve. So what have I taken away from this whole experience? It took about 5 months of my life to study for this exam that more or less I'm not confident about how well I did on, and now I have to wait a month. I have to wait until September 29th to get my grades back. I got to relearn a bunch of cool material from my undergrad, stuff that I did not understand as much when I first did it, but now I kind of get. That's about as much as I can say about it. That's good. I don't know. I was miserable. That's the main negative. Is that it was terrible, and I was very sad for a while. I'm just glad that's over. I'm not sure if I'll have to retake it. I guess we'll find out in a few weeks. But for now, I'm just gonna, you know, enjoy the view a bit. And of course, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I really appreciate it. See you soon.
Okie dokie. You want me to try that again, or?
Okay. Alright, and this is the slightly sad one.
I'm looking forward to doing. Interrupting me. Shut up.
I feel like you didn't hear that from me. You're not recording right now, are you?
No.
I feel like my fucking roommate thinks I'm batshit crazy.
Alright, I'll do a retake.
Somebody call you stupid. I'll do it. I'll do that second one. You're stupid.
Hello, Missile. Do you want my sock?
Oh my god, I'm also turning noise suppression off.
Do you want me to say TBH or to be honest?
You can say TBH.
No clue what an ionization constant is, to be honest. Oh, fuck.
Just never play these back to me.
They lied to me on purpose.
I have to do animations in After Effects. It makes me want to rip my hair out.
That involves sofa. Sofa. It sounds like sofa in my accent.
Oh, I need to read this 5 times before I realize what this is actually saying.
Ionization? That might be difficult, because that word is not good for the tongue.
You fucked it up! No, I'm joking.
Yeah, like how Barry Benson's like, do you like jazz? Like that kind of...
You can put that in the bloopers.
I'm running it back.